Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic and phenomenal day. Quick look here again at AVAX, double checking a few key factors. What a nice pump here. We're expecting the price to either go range bound and break to the upside with this ascending trend, or to break its resistance, come back for a bullish backtest of this resistance level at 22 and continue higher. Thankfully, we got some skin in the game there. If we take a look, we got a nice entry here for AVAX, good little 21% in 10 hours there. Got in at 22 and we got out at 2250/2325. So again, awesome stuff here for this coin. AVAX looking very strong at this point. What we want to look at next though is a couple of key factors on liquidation for it though, because that has since changed a lot since we reviewed this a couple days ago. So let's go ahead and take a look and see roughly what this is like here. And before we get started, folks, just ask you quickly hit the like button. Absolutely appreciate that. If you got some comments, love to hear your feedback as well. So when we look at AVAX, liquidation levels, massive amount of liquidation between 19 and 20. That's a long ways away though, folks. I do not presume we're going to see that hit at all. What I do see here, of course, on the macro is that we had a heavy concentration at about 22.80. That $23 mark I basically told you about a couple of days ago being a very strong inclination for getting swept. So again, when you see heavy concentrations like that on the macro, a retest of a recent resistance level, more likely you're going to see that level get hit, okay? That's essentially what we traded into. It wasn't the only reason. There was a lot of confirming factors. AVAX was looking strong, but once we broke through 22, there was no looking back, okay? But again, $19, $18 right there, just know that exists. I wouldn't be super worried or concerned with it just yet. We do see upper liquidation levels, not massive, but 27 and or 29 as round numbers are the next two key areas, okay? What we want to do here too, first of all, before we get started, let's go ahead and update our fib levels here, kind of see and pay attention to where the areas of retracement could be if the price does end up pulling back, okay? We're also going to take a look at some moving averages here on the macro, which are important to recognize, because when you look at SMAs, it's one of those things where you got to recognize that, hey, while we broke above the 20-day SMA, and that's a very positive trend setter, that is essentially where you want to be with most coins. We can see the price action for this coin here effectively still under the 50, right? So let's zoom in so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This orange line here is a 50-day simple moving average. That's letting us know that we are stuck underneath that, but we wicked all the way up to 25.36. We almost hit our fourth profit target on that one trade. That's awesome. I think we're at 23.75 was that, because again, we have had some previous liquidation in this range. I'll update our playout chart on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. If you're not familiar, it looks a little something like this, where I provide you with considerations of entry for coins that I'm planning to take trades with. But again, with AVAX, simple as this here, we are on the pullback. There's a decent chance we could see the price pull back a little bit further, especially if Bitcoin continues to retrace like it is. But the truth is that this coin is much stronger than most out there, okay? However, that comes with a caveat. Most stronger coins, for example, like ICP, AVAX, there's a few others as well, Dogwoof Hat. They're looking strong today, or they have been strong recently. Just know they have more meat on the bone, more profit left to be taken, so they could pull back harder than you'd expect. But again, we're above a lot of resistances, and let's talk about that. So on the daily time frame, we're above 50 on the RSI. That's fantastic. We were breaking through 50 on the RSI when I sent out the signal, right? We can see Moneyflow index is high. That's extremely important, specifically on the daily. Now that we've dropped our average of this crazy candle wick here, we're starting to see a realistic average that the price is going up with the Moneyflow. We can also see MACD is converging with stochastic starting to top out. Stochastic usually tops out right when you start hitting some resistances, which is what we're seeing right now, okay? So while the price is pulling back right now, will it be a dramatic pullback? Maybe, maybe not. Let's find out, okay? Let's take a look at the 4 hour. This will tell us a lot more, because the daily time frame is good to help understand kind of the general consensus of what's going on in the big picture, but you should never make a decision without looking at the 4 hour or the hourly, just to ensure that you're kind of looking at everything, right? I like to take a blended view or perception of whatever coins I'm analyzing with a different time frame for each scenario, and then I just kind of make an informed decision based on those averages. So far, the daily is looking pretty bullish, but we rejected off that resistance, roughly that range here at that $25 mark. Okay, that's where the SMA is at. We'll look here. The 200-day SMA is right here at $24. It's a 0.236 fib level. We may experience a bounce here soon. While it's less likely and not a more common area of retracement, the 200-day SMA can work favorably as a support range, right? But the truth is here, we are starting to see this ascending trend with the 20-day SMA, and that's the important one we want to pay attention to. So a lot of times I just like to draw out trend lines based on the 20-day SMA. That's the more important indicator for me for trend reversal or the start of one, because as you can see here, if we look on the daily, that's exactly what happened here back when we decided to take our trade, we broke above the 20-day SMA, and that was a good confirming factor, right? It's not exact. You don't just take trades on that one thing, but that is something to recognize nonetheless. Okay, so that's what we're just going to draw that out here, just for for perspective, future reference. Okay, 4-hour time frame. We take a look here. We got the 70 and the RSI kind of breaking back down below. Now again, we went above. Now that we're back down, generally the consensus here is to consider securing profit on your long. We've already secured profits on our long position, but if you're a diamond hand holder or whatever, and you just want this to go to the moon, I would just not consider doing that. While this has favorable signs, it's reaching an overextended state. Pullbacks are necessary, and depending on your scenario, you could in fact hold on for a lot longer. But if you have any type of leverage, you probably want to consider securing profits just because of how volatile and crazy and weird the market is right now. It's always best to not leave money on the table. Let's just put it that way. Moneyflow index is high, of course. Stochastic swinging up. These are generally favorable signs. But me personally, even though these are all very good, very positive, I don't feel comfortable taking it along at this exact moment. Okay, and I'll explain why when we look at the hourly. But the truth here is, with all this volume, there's going to be profits that are going to be secured. We're going to see a bit of fair value below the price action, and it's normal for that to try to get filled, right? We've got a decent amount of fair value gaps. In fact, some of those have already gotten previously filled, and our sell side liquidity is swept. Again, this much volume in a short amount of time, I never like trading into that. It feels kind of like a manipulation, which it pretty much is. Like, why would we have that much volume in one candle? It makes no sense. Anyways, the bottom line here is when I see that, taking along into it doesn't feel comfortable. I don't like shorting into it either unless I'm paying close attention and I'm pretty much day trading. So if you already missed the boat, I recommend not worrying about it. Bitcoin is starting to pull back, and we're starting to see that correlation, right? Bitcoin pulling back, AVAX as well. So right now, it's just not ideal trading conditions to try to jump in either direction. That's my personal opinion. But the macro is confirming bullish behavior. We want to see how these support levels start to average out and kind of see how that goes. So in all reality right now, the way the price is right now for AVAX, it's really in your best interest to consider just kind of waiting on the sidelines and waiting for a better opportunity. Let's see how these recent highs right here at about 23.62, if that's going to hold or not. Because generally these areas here is going to hold as a support if the price makes its way back down there. Okay. Again, local highs turn into new lows. That's generally the consensus, and that's what we're looking for. If we look at the HMOA Cloud, though, we can still confirm that generally there's no reason to take a short position. Okay, everything here is telling us we're good to go. Till we break below this ascending trend line, there's no reason to consider a short position. I know it seems crazy because people always ask me, hey, why don't we just short to that level? We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to actually hit that level. We've confirmed most things are pointing up right now. Why try to go in the opposite direction? I don't know if you've ever rubbed sandpaper on your skin. It doesn't feel very good, right? That's going against the grain. That's not something you want to do. Instead, like a blade of grass, if you go the right direction, it's smooth and consistent. You want to go the way of the trend. The trend right now is up. Doesn't mean you want to take a long position right now, but it certainly means you don't want to take a short. Okay. Again, 95% of trading is convincing yourself not to take a trade, and I've done a pretty good job of not wanting to take a trade right now. Again, it's easy to say because in hindsight, we secured profits on this coin already, right? Now, I know the question is, what do we do next? Well, the truth is, you probably want to wait for a better opportunity. The local high, see how the local high treats us. And then, of course, wait for these fib levels to play out. It takes a little while. Catching a falling knife is never a great call. All right. Anyways, that's what I got here for you. I hope that was beneficial and helpful for you. Thank you so much again for joining me. I look forward to working with you in the future. If you want to join us over at CryptoCache.tech. Again, we got some nice profits here for our trades there. We do take a look, of course. Make sure you reference our trade alerts. Got some really good alerts coming through there as well. Basically, those are little segues into my trade signals. That's available with our Pioneer package on our website if you're curious. Otherwise, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you soon.